Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel, The Big Black American Secret. I want to give you an update on Grandmaster Jay and his situation. Yesterday, at the end of the trial, he was found guilty on both charges. I'm going to turn this around and let you get updated on that in a few minutes. Before I do, I want to read to you the goal of this channel. And I do apologize for not having it already ready. The goal of this channel is to build an unstoppable army of knowledgeable black melanated people in America and around the world that understand that we as melanated people have one enemy worldwide, and that enemy is the system of racism, white supremacy. Our mission through education is to replace this evil system with a system of freedom, justice, and equality as laid out by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. We will need your help in building this knowledgeable army. You can help by subscribing to this channel, by donating to this cause through Cash App or PayPal, and by sharing the video you watch here and any knowledge that is shared. In doing so together, we help fertilize the mentally enslaved, colonized minds of black, melanated people worldwide, creating the perfect mental conditions for our children to grow up in a better, more balanced world. That being said, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's video will be in the description of this video. Everybody that is black on this planet need to understand the system of racism, white supremacy, because that system is killing you. Physically and literally killing you on a daily basis through every avenue that they have created, through your food, through the police forces, through medicine. You name it, you are being killed without your knowledge. It's very scary. And you not knowing about the system of racism, white supremacy puts everybody else at risk. Now, that being said, the reason Grandmaster Jay is going through the hell he's going through is because of the system of racism, white supremacy. He stood up for his people. He demonstrated his Second Amendment rights. He went down to Louisville and he wanted to know what's going on. Why y'all dragging y'all feet on this Breonna Taylor thing? You know, him and his militia, armed legally, and the system of racism, white supremacy responded. Within 30 days of them seeing that display, William Barr was the attorney general at the time. Him and Donald Trump got together and says, hey, we have to do something about this. Armed black militia. Within 30 days, they created the William Barr's task force against violent identity extremists. I forget the exact name of it, but that's what it was. 30 days after them seeing that display, the system of racism, white supremacy went to work, and that's what they created. Now he's being charged and found guilty on flimsy charges, and he's been arrested. And he actually could go to jail for over 20 years if they continue down this rabbit hole. He and his attorneys have filed an appeal. And I'm sure with our help, yours, mine, and everybody on this planet, we're gonna raise such a bright light of truth. And the fact that this is a very racist situation, because this dude, the jury was 11 white people, one black person. And I'm sure that one black person was a coon. You feel what I'm saying? Anyway, I won't get off into the particulars of that situation, but Grandmaster Jay is a proxy for black men worldwide. The system of racism, white supremacy is trying to do to him what they did on those plantations in the killing fields in the South during slavery. They take a strong black influential buck, tar, feather him, beat him within an inch of his life in front of everybody to instill fear in the young bucks coming up behind him, and to also let the woman know, the black woman know, that she has no protection. Therefore, she has to submit to the will of the white man. That's the plan. So therefore, we cannot allow the buck breaking process to continue. We have to stop the buck breaking process in its footsteps. How are we going to do this, Daniel? We're going to do that again by shining the bright light of the truth of the system of racism, white supremacy, broadcast it out to the world. Again, in a few other of my videos, as a matter of fact, take a minute, hit the bell, subscribe, hit like, hit the bell. You know what to do so that you're notified when I go live or make another video. When they buck broke a slave on a plantation, those other slaves should have burned that plantation to the ground that very day, or at least that night. You understand what I'm saying? But because they were afraid, they did nothing. They did nothing. We will not do nothing. I'm telling you, this is what we're going to do. We are going to shine the biggest light, showing that America is the most racist place in the world and has killed all black men who have stood up for their people. This will be the calling cry against the system of racism, white supremacy, because what they have done, they have not only poked the bear, they have awakened a sleeping giant. The black man is a sleeping giant, the most powerful force on this planet. And he will stand in that strength. So thank you, racist white America. Thank you for waking the sleeping giant. Thank you for poking the bear. We won't disappoint you. I guarantee you that. We will not disappoint you. You feel me? We are the mothers and fathers of civilization on this planet. And we have watched you run havoc on this planet too long. Your father will discipline you. Now, understand what I'm telling you. Understand what I'm telling you. We will shine the brightest light of truth on this planet, and the truth will burn this plantation to the ground. The truth, the simple and plain truth, will burn this plantation to the ground. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Okay? Now, if you have any sense and you don't want to pour fuel on the fire, stand down. Stand down. Reverse these charges and do the right thing. You will not take another man from us who stands up for his family, his black family. You will not do that. You will not do that without repercussions. And I don't care about your slickness. I don't care about your slickness. You see, I know your goal is to draw this thing out. Draw it out so that you don't get everybody all angry and afraid. You understand what I'm saying? But it's too late. We already angry and afraid. That's why we silent. You understand? We are angry and afraid. This is why we're silent. You're trying to go the route. I'm gonna show you an illustration of what you're trying to do, racist white America. They say if you wanna, it's an experiment. Somebody told me about it. I never done it myself. I never seen it illustrated. But they say if you put a frog in hot water, it'll jump out. You know. But if you put a frog in water and you slowly turn the heat up, incrementally, you can boil that frog alive. He won't even move. You see what I'm saying? He'll become comfortable in that situation. We are the new breed, and we're not afraid to bleed to protect ourselves, our family, and our property. I don't believe in violence, but I do believe in self-defense with deadly lethal force if need be. This evil system of racism ends now. Again, thank you, racist white America. Thank you so much for waking a sleeping giant, for poking the bear. I really appreciate you. I appreciate you for that. You know. Now, that being said, I'm going to turn this around and let you hear, we'll update on the case. How about that? So let me just do this.
I want to get to some breaking news. Coming into the newsroom right here at 6, a Verdict has been reached in the Grandmaster J federal trial. The jury found Jay Johnson guilty on both counts. He was charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding certain officers and brandishing a firearm in relation to a crime of violence. What that comes down to meaning is Johnson was accused of pointing a gun at officers who were staked out on rooftops. He had claimed he just wanted to see who was there and he was not looking to harm anyone. The prosecution argued that he was told before he came during those protests for Breonna Taylor that the officers would be on the roof. He has now been taken into custody. That's where he will stay until he returns for sentencing coming up on August 22nd. I want to get to some breaking.
All right, so that's an update. And again, there's no need to be sad or in your feelings, you know. I mean, you could be a little bit upset and angry and confused, you know what I'm saying? But you have to understand the system of racism, white supremacy. They had to do this. They had to do this. You know what I'm saying? You know, they have to respond to what they perceive as a threat, which means that we have to respond because this is a threat to us. They're trying to bug break us, and that ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen. We will burn this bitch to the ground. We will burn this bitch to the ground because that's what should have taken place on those plantations back then. And you ain't going to slow boil us like no damn frogs either. Again, the system of racism, white supremacy cannot stand up to the simple truth. You feel me? And that's what we do, people. We're going to continue to support, again, his legal defense fund because I'm not going to sit and let them kill or lock up for life or more than they need to any black man who stands up for his people. I'm not going to stand by and let that happen. And I'm going to force you not to stand up and allow it to happen either because that will be you, black man. That will be your son's black man. Okay? So black men and women, here's the game plan. Use your social media posts to inform the people who follow you, the people who are influenced by you, the people who you kick it with on all your social media platforms, just how racist this is, that this is a buck-breaking attempt against all black men. And we ain't having it, you know? And I'm going to tell you a little secret. We outnumber them by a big margin. We outnumber them by a couple of million, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know the exact number, but these people's numbers have always been very low. Folks, I ain't telling you what I think, I'm telling you what I know. But they give us the false illusion that we're the minority and that they're the majority, which puts in our minds that we're low in numbers. I'm going to show you a document from Benjamin Franklin that's going to prove this to you. Their numbers have always been low. I'm going to try to go to Google first, but I know they had a lot of documents and stuff, especially from on my anyway, I ain't going to get into that. But let me go to Google real quick and show you something. And I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I might as well show you what I want you to see. Benjamin Franklin wrote a long document because he was upset that England wanted to send a whole bunch of Germans here. He was very upset, and again, I'm gonna apologize in advance because these people be messing around with this information. When I try to look up stuff, I do apologize. That's something in my eye. But anyway, here's here's that document. Here's Benjamin Franklin, and this is from the National Archives. And this document is called The Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind in 1751. Okay, I'm gonna go down to about the last two paragraphs in this huge document. And this document, again, is going to prove to you quite a few things. One, it's going to prove to you that Caucasians, people with white skin, numbers are very low and always have been. And two, it's going to prove to you that the Europeans were originally looked like you and I. But the system of racism, white supremacy, after Charles Darwin wrote that book in 1859 about natural selection and the origin of the species, that racist book, that planted in the minds of the white-skinned European that they were genetically superior. But let me get into this document. It says, since detachment of English from Britain sent to America will have their place at home so soon supplied and increased so largely here, why should the Palatine Boers be suffered to swarm into our settlement, and by herding together establish their language and manners to the exclusion of ours? Why should Pennsylvania, founded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them, and will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion? Which leads me to add one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately very small. Which leads me to one remark, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionately very small. All Africa is black or tawny. Tawny means brown. All Africa is black or brown. Asia, chiefly tawny. Asia, chiefly brown. Yes, the Asians back then and before then looked like us but had the Asian phenotype. Absolute fact. This guy is a primary source, eyewitness account. You do not get any more credible as far as a source than an eyewitness account. So pay attention. Now, where was I? America, exclusive of the newcomers, which were the Pilgrims, wholly so. Wholly so what? America, black and brown. You were already here in America. You are an Amarucan. You are an Aboriginal American. I'll get into that in a minute. Okay? And in Europe, the Spaniard, Italian, French, Russian, and Swedes are generally what we call a swarthy complexion. Swarthy means black-skinned. As are the Germans also. So the Germans look like you and I. The Saxons only accepted, who with the English make up the principal body of white people on the face of the earth. So a good number of the English people and a good number of the Saxons were of white complexion. A very small group of people. Always have been. That's why the system of racism, white supremacy, gives us the false illusion that they are the majority. Because if we ever really understood the fact that they were a minority, a small group of people, majority rules. Game over for them. You see why I'm excited about this? The system of racism, white supremacy cannot stand up to the truth. This is why these people lose their minds over the critical race theory, because the critical race theory simply is history. It's the truth of history. Period. They can't take it. It's like spray on roaches. It kills them. They can't. It's incredible. But anyway, I could wish their numbers were increased. And while we are, as I may call it, scoring our planet by clearing America of woods, and so making this side of the globe reflect a brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants of Mars or Venus, why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? Why bring more dark-skinned people here? Those dark, black German people here. You already got Aboriginal Americans here. He just said that. But I'm going to go further. Why increase the sons of Africa, the sons of black and brown people, by planting them in America, where we have so far an opportunity by excluding all black and browns, all black and 20s, of increasing the lovely white and red. Remember, the Indian was called the red man. I'm going to show you something in a minute. But perhaps I'm partial to the complexion of my own country, for such kind of partiality is natural to mankind. Now, the Indian was called the red man. This is a 1-cent copper penny. It's damn near identical to the color of the back of my hand. This is called a 1 cent. It's a red cent. It's a copper cent. Red copper is a brownish red color. Okay. So when they say the red man, they were talking about the black Americans. We are, look at me, I'm a brownish red color. So are you. Our colors range from very, very light skinned, damn near white, to blue black mahogany. I know you don't believe me, so I'm gonna point out a definition, something else to you real quick. It's another Google search. This definition is going to prove to you who you are, black man and woman. This is the definition. This is the 1828 the year 1828 definition of American. Okay, it's the Webster's Noah's Dictionary, the year 1828, and it's it gives you the definition of the people they saw when they came here to America. And I do apologize. They move this definition around a lot on my system because they're such assholes, to be honest with you. I'm going to try to find it before I get too discouraged so I can read it to you. I do have it saved on a I do have it saved on one of my discs here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just go to my disc because I ain't got time to fool with these people. But you could look it up on your computer too at home. You might be able to go right to it, but again, they got my stuff all jacked up when I go to searches. Okay, here it is. The year 1828 definition of American, and here it reads. I'm going to turn this around because, like I said, I got it saved on my computer. This is a page out of that dictionary, okay? So I'm going to go down here and read the words. It says, American, a noun, a native of America, originally applied to the aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans. That penny's made out of copper. Found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So what that is saying is, when they came here to America, they saw brownish red people. They saw you. They saw my ancestors, your ancestors. And they also, that definition tells you that they have been stealing your American identity. It says, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. That's a very powerful definition. That's why they've been trying to hide it. That's why you've never heard of it up until now, if you're new to this channel. Okay? When you look up American, it'll tell you about America being a melting pot. You feel me? But it's information like this that blows the lid off the lies. And that's why I say, when America do these racist things, like try to bug break us, we simply combat that with the truth. And we broadcast it loud using our social media post, because that is how we distribute information. We don't have large news organs like ABC, CBS, NBC, none of those. We don't need them. We don't need them. We have what we need. We have to be fearless about this, and we just have to put it out there, because again, we cannot allow them to bug break us anymore. It's over. It's over. Okay? Again, thank you, racist white America, for poking the bear. Thank you, racist white America, for waking up a sleeping giant. The Black American is the only true American. You own our home continent, and you will act right or you will get the fuck up out of here. You understand me? This is your daddy talking to you. This is your daddy talking to you. I ain't having this shit no more. Game the fuck over. Please understand me. Please understand me. Please understand me. Game the fuck over. Now, my beautiful black people, until you understand the system of racism, white supremacy, you are at risk. Please understand that system today. Watch the video in the description. It's simple. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing left us a legacy of understanding. Okay? She left us the legacy of understanding this evil system. Okay? So it's you must learn this system. Otherwise, you're going to continue to drink yourself into an early grave. You're going to continue to push dope into your veins. You're going to continue to be stressed out and not know why. You're going to continue to be evil to the people around you and your children and your wife. This system has black men have black men fighting our own women and vice versa. That's why Kevin Samuel was so popular, because he lashed out at women. And a large group of our men who don't understand the system of racism, white supremacy, gravitated to that. You understand what I'm saying? They was not knowing how this system works and what this system is leaves us all vulnerable. So make it your mission today, right now, to watch that video in the description. Even if you don't understand what the fuck it is I'm saying, watch it anyway. Why? Because once you see something, you cannot unsee it. And just because you're not able to digest it all right now, don't mean that it's not important. Get it in you, and things will start to happen. Your genetic memory will be sparked. Okay? Again, this is your big brother talking to you. So don't be discouraged. What Grandmaster Jay is going through is what's necessary right now. He will be free at the appointed time. I guarantee it. Again, this system cannot stand up to the truth, and we outnumber them. Benjamin Franklin just told you that. Trust and believe the facts. What you don't trust and believe is all of this negative propaganda that they've been pushing on us through our public school systems, through our religious systems, through our political systems, through entertainment. Don't believe none of those. All of those are a part of the system of racism, white supremacy, all designed to keep you blind. Watch Dr. Frances Cress Welsing's video in the description, and the mental chains will come off your mind of slavery. You have been mentally enslaved. You've never been a slave. You've always been a prisoner of war on your own land. There were 94 documented Indian wars on this continent for the sole purpose of slave catching, but you never heard about that. In fact, the slave trade that took place on this continent was called the International Indigenous American Slave Trade. Google it, look it up. It's a fact. But we've been lied to. They called it the transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade was when they sent Aboriginal Europeans from Europe to here. That started in 1618. If I'm not mistaken, they sent us some folks here in 1618. Those were shiploads of black Europeans who were prisoners of war due to the wars they was having in Europe at the time. The War of the Grand Alliance, the 12-Year War, a bunch of wars that they had going on at the time. But anyway, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But we have all been lied to, because that's what the system of racism, white supremacy must do. It must lie to you. It must make you think they are superior when they are in fact genetically inferior. White people are a genetic defect of us. They have albinism. During the Ice Age, there was they say a 10,000 year period, which there was an overcast in a certain part of Europe and Asia. During that 10,000 year period, our people who gave birth to albino babies, and albino babies are still being born to this day, those albino babies were given a 10,000 year period to grow and multiply, at which time their features changed. Instead of having woolly hair, like their mothers and fathers, and broad noses. Cold weather, your hair lays down to keep the heat on your body. Your nose, which was broad and open, becomes longer, skinnier, and narrow, so that cold air heats up a little bit before it goes up your navel, go far up to into your brain. You see what I'm saying? And that was how Caucasians were created, and Asians, the current Chinese people you see today, Japanese and Chinese people. But that was only in a small part of Europe and Asia, the cold part. You see, in cold weather, when you block the sun, black people with melanin, it affects us in a negative way. You know, we get less vitamin D from the sun. It does weird things with our bones. We die from simple stuff like cold. You know, they, on the other hand, they flourish and thrive because now the sun is being blocked. The sun gives them folks cancer. They don't last long in regular conditions. They don't keep up with the herd. That's why Bill Gates want to block the sun. You know, okay, I've said a lot in this video, and here's the takeaway. They are trying to bug break us. Grandmaster Jay is a proxy. We're going to continue to support his legal defense fund. We're going to start broadcasting out this situation heavily on our social media platforms, because this is what we must do. This is how we fight back. We're not going to just allow them to boil us slowly in a pot and we not hop out. The system of racism, white supremacy cannot afford the truth, and they damn sure can't afford black men really being pissed the fuck off. For real, for real. Because we will burn this bitch to the ground. And we'll rebuild this bitch back by ourselves the way it should have been in the beginning. But I'm not advocating violence. It's not necessary right now. Again, I don't advocate violence. I advocate self-defense with lethal, deadly force. Please understand the difference, okay? And I don't want any copyright strikes or claims. I played a video earlier, fair use. I'm not sure if they're going to play this video because, again, it's a system of racism, white supremacy. All the large media organs are the propaganda arms of the system of racism, white supremacy. Hell, YouTube, Facebook, all owned by white people. These are white supremacists, whether they know it or not. So therefore, in an effect to protect the system of racism, white supremacy, they're going to do what white supremacists do. It don't matter to me. I'll just make another video. I'll go on another platform. You have to have the same mindset. Don't allow yourself to be butt broken. By educating yourself on the system of racism, white supremacy, teaching your kids about it, broadcasting it on your timeline. Don't be silent about it. Don't allow your fear to shut you down. Allow your fear to motivate you and move you forward in destroying the system of racism, white supremacy. That's your assignment. That's your assignment. You are now inducted into the army of B1. We must be of one mind if we're going to destroy the system of racism, white supremacy, and replace it with the system of freedom, justice, and equality. Watch Dr. Francis Cress Welson's video in the description. Get yourself educated. Get your children educated, because they are the ones who are most important in this equation. They are our future. They must know who they are. And they must know whom is causing us harm. If you don't know who your enemy is, you will continue to be killed by that enemy in a whole bunch of creative ways. Through your food, through your entertainment. You understand what I'm saying? By police parading around, by race soldiers parading around as police officers, by doctors, by white eugenics parading around as doctors. You know what I'm saying? We could talk for hours about stuff like this, but we ain't going to, because we got a job to do. The job is to broadcast out to the world that this attack on Grandmaster Jay is an attack on all black men. It's an attempt to buck break all black men, which leaves all black women unprotected. Family, this is our mission. Be one.